Today, on Destination Polaris, we're off to Utah for Rally on the Rocks. But this isn't your average ride. Nope, we brought along some very special guests. We're happy you're here because Destination Polaris starts right now.
I'm Joey D with UTV Underground, and we're here in beautiful Moab, Utah, where we're gonna hook up with the Warfighter made crew, teach them how to off-road, and tackle the annual Rally on the Rocks event. All this and more today on Destination Polaris. Moab, Utah, a paradise for hiking, rock climbing, and off-road UTV adventures. This week, we team up with the Warfighter made organization and take 3 American heroes and their wives on the trip of a lifetime. We'll spend 2 days tackling some of Moab's most beautiful and challenging trails with our crew, then join the 2015 Discount Tire Rally on the Rocks event and conquer the infamous cliffhanger in the rain. This special episode is dedicated to the men and women of our U.S. Armed Forces. Moab is a city in eastern Utah with a population just over 5,000. It attracts a large number of tourists every year, mostly visitors to the nearby Arches and Canyonlands National Parks. The town is a popular base for mountain bikers and off-roaders who come to ride the hundreds of miles of sandstone slick rock in the beautiful natural settings just south of the Colorado River. Each year, we make our way out to Moab to hit the trails and for the annual Rally on the Rocks event. Over 1,200 rock crawling enthusiasts converge on Moab to participate in organized group rides on nearly 30 trails that cover hundreds of miles of beautiful natural landscape. This is the 5th year in a row that UTV Underground has attended the Rally on the Rocks event. This year, we decided to make a call to our friend Robert Blanton, who is the co-founder of Warfighter Made. Warfighter Made is a nonprofit organization that provides recreational therapy for wounded combat veterans. We teamed up with Warfighter last year on an epic trip to Mammoth, California, and extended an invitation to them to meet us in Moab to go rock crawling and tackle Rally on the Rocks with us. Robert didn't bat an eye. He contacted Marine Corporals Michael Fox and Joshua Sust and Marine Sergeant Gabriel Martinez and their wives and invited them to join us for an adventure of a lifetime. Mark Epsky, the marketing manager for Razor, came along on our trip as well. Mark and the team at Polaris have made a massive commitment to supporting Warfighter Made and our wounded veterans. We sat down with all of them to get to know them better prior to our first day of riding. Robert Blanton is a 21-year retired reconnaissance Marine who served for no less than 4 combat tours. He received the Silver Star Medal, the nation's 3rd highest valor award for extraordinary heroism during combat actions in Iraq during 2008. Robert co-founded Warfighter Made with fellow veterans Brian T. Meyer and friend Butch Lynch and has been a full-time volunteer ever since.
I'm Rob Blanton. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Warfighter Made. We're a nonprofit that does recreational therapy for ill, injured, and combat wounded service members. We're doing this trip again because the first trip was such a phenomenal experience, and our injured warfighters took so much away from it, and it was just fantastic to get these guys in these Polaris Razors and go out and just have fun.
So I was injured in Moose Kala, Afghanistan, Helmand Province, in November 12th, 2011 with 2nd Marine, 4th Division. My injuries I sustained is open fractures both bones, left arm, and shattered tibial and fibula in my left foot. also TBI and PTSD. Things I had to go through is spent 27 days in the hospital, 9 surgeries later. Still in constant pain to this day, but just being out here with Warfighter Made is just, it helps everything out. Everything goes away, there's no more stress. I can just kind of be who I used to be.
Back in 2011 in Afghanistan, I ended up stepping on an IED. At that time, took both my legs, and I got some pretty good damage to my left arm and hand. After that, it was just all recovery. And things like this is part of the mental recovery. You know, you can do the physical therapy, the occupational therapy, and all that, and it's all good. But after you get done with that, you just need this as kind of a distressor, I guess, from all the daily grind, I guess.
I served in the Marine Corps on my second tour to Afghanistan. And on Thanksgiving Day, I stepped on a 20-pound improvised explosive device. So that day I stepped on it, I lost both my legs, one above the knee, one below the knee. I also took shrapnel through my helmet and had a traumatic brain injury. Yeah, it sucked, but I was alive, and there was a lot of guys that didn't make it back. You know, I took it literally step by step and kept achieving my next goal, my next goal, my next goal, until I was who I wanted to be, for the rest of my life. And I mean, here I am now in Moab, Utah, crawling rocks.
Yeah, this is really our second year of partnering with Warfighter Made. And we're incredibly proud and honored to be a part of this trip and to be supporting Warfighter Made in their efforts around recreational therapy and what they're doing to support veterans. So we're excited to be out here with them.
After getting to know Mike, Gabe, and Josh, we loaded up the Razors and headed out on our first ride in Moab. Joining us on the Hels Revenge Trail were Greg and Tanner Godfrey of Nitro Circus and the Godfrey Clan. Tanner was paralyzed in 2007 racing Desert Moto, but regained the use of his legs after years of therapy, and now he races a Polaris Razor. So it was awesome to have these guys join our ride and offer advice to our Warfighter crew. The Hels Revenge Trailhead is a little over a mile northeast of Moab on Sand Flats Road. This trail was full of steep ascents, sharp turns, and steep downhill climbs that required a soft touch. Once we got out on the trail, the guys were smiling ear to ear at how fun it was to climb the slick rock, and they couldn't believe how beautiful the landscape was. We were blown away by how well our warfighters did on their first day on the trail. Mike and Gabe drove with their artificial limbs attached and powered through all of the tough obstacles like they had been driving Razors for years. Josh made quick work of everything he encountered and had a smile on his face the entire day. First Brandon goes, no, okay, no. Don't move. When we come back, we'll tackle day 2 of our Warfighter Made special and hit the Golden Spike Trail right here on Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is sponsored by Super ATV, your trusted source for high-quality off-road parts and accessories. And by Progressive Insurance. Think easier, think Progressive. And by Polaris Visa Card. Power your passion. Earn Polaris cash on all of your purchases.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. It's day 2 of our rock crawling adventure out here in Moab, Utah. We're here with 4 decorated veterans who are members of the Warfighter Made organization, and today we're headed out to the Golden Spike Trail to see more of this amazing landscape. On day 2 of our Warfighter Made Moab adventure, we drove about 7 miles out of town and tackled the Golden Spike Trail, which is one of the most popular rides in Moab. This trail features challenging obstacles, non-stop scenery, and a road surface that makes for some faster driving, which was a lot of fun. This trail is rated 6 out of 10 in terms of its difficulty, but our Razors made quick work of the obstacles. Since the rock slopes down to the west, the views in all directions were spectacular. So we're about halfway through Moab Rim Trail here in Moab, and we're getting sideways on the Golden Crack. The Golden Crack is a deep, naturally occurring rut that forces you to delicately balance each of the 4 tires of your RZR as you traverse across it. Everyone in the crew took turns driving through it to get the feeling of loading and unloading the car and to learn when to apply the power. Mike and Erica Fox took the Warfighter-made Polaris RZR XP 1004 across the Golden Crack like pros. So Camp Chef is a manufacturer of high-end camping products that, for cooking and barbecues and all the good stuff that you would need when you want to cook a meal out on the trail. And they were a big sponsor for us last year when we went out and did this Warfighter trip in Mammoth. So when they found out we were coming to Moab, they're about 5 hours north here in Utah, right away we're like, hey, we want to be a part of this again. So they volunteered to come up with this idea of cooking a meal for us on the trail as a surprise to them, and just show their appreciation for these injured war veterans and show their appreciation for the Warfighter-made organization. We ended the day at the Gold Bar Rim, which is a quarter-mile above the town of Moab. The guys all had a chance to get out of their machines and reflect on the ride and the amazing views around us. There's something to be said about being out in nature, turning off the cell phone, and just enjoying the quiet serenity of this beautiful country. We noticed that Robert's style with the Warfighters was not to constantly talk about their injuries or the memories they had of combat, but rather to crack jokes, take pictures together, and just let the experience guide the healing process. This adventure we were on together simply felt like a group of friends out on an awesome trail ride, and maybe that's what these heroes needed most. Stick around. When we come back, we join the 6th annual Discount Tire Rally on the Rocks and tackle one of the hardest trails yet, in the rain. You're watching Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is sponsored by Aluma Trailers, the best aluminum trailers available. And by Wicked Built, make your machine wicked. And by Brimstone Recreation Area, where the journey is your reward.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. It's day 3 of our Warfighter-made Moab adventure, and today our crew is joining up with the 6th annual Discount Tire Rally on the Rocks event. Rally on the Rocks had over 1,200 participants this year, and more than 60 companies came out to display their merchandise. People came from all over the United States to ride nearly 30 trails that cover hundreds of miles just outside of town. Robert Blanton, the co-founder and CEO of Warfighter-Made, showed us a moment he captured after yesterday's ride of the boys cutting loose and having some fun. Lance Chernos of Rally on the Rocks came over and spoke to our crew while we finished up our registration.
It's an honor to have you guys out here. I mean, the Rally on the Rocks, we bring people from all over the country, teach them how to rock crawl, overcome obstacles in their lives, and they have fun doing this. So what you guys are doing, is a whole nother level. Rally on the Rocks is honored to have the Warfighter-made crew out here. We help people from all over the country overcome these rock obstacles, and they get done with them, and they think it's the coolest thing ever. But to see what these guys are overcoming in their lives, it's really special to have those guys out here. We're honored to have them.
As our crew loaded up and got ready to head out on the trail, high winds started to roll in, and we knew rain could come at any minute. Today's the first day of the Rally on the Rocks event, and right away we're jumping into Cliffhanger, which is one of the most challenging trails here in Moab. Yesterday we had some of the most beautiful weather Moab has to offer. Today, well, Mother Nature decided to change her plans. The Warfighter-made crew is not afraid of challenges. A little rain and some gnarly obstacles are not going to slow these guys down. The trail we picked was called Cliffhanger for a reason. It's rated 8 out of 10 in difficulty and really lives up to its name. There are a host of formidable ledges that in dry weather are tough, but in the rain, this was about to get really interesting. The rock trails in Moab are referred to as slick rock, And that's a bit misleading because when they're dry, our razors practically stick to them, allowing us to drive up these vertical rock faces. But when these trails get wet, they get slick. And as we moved down the trail, some of the guys in our group had a real hard time getting up the faces. But not our warfighters. Gabe and Kayla Martinez walked up these rocks like seasoned pros. Robert Blanton powered over them on his first try. And Mike and Erica Fox made it look way too easy. These guys quickly became an inspiration to everyone else in the group. As the day wore on and it continued to rain, we decided to play it safe and head back to town. We had conquered Cliffhanger in the rain with a fearless group of disabled but not disheartened American veterans. And we all felt like celebrating and conserving our strength and gear for our last day of riding. Don't go anywhere. When we come back, we'll spend our last day charging beautiful Moab Rim and hear our warfighters' reactions to riding in Moab. You're watching a special edition of Destination Polaris.
Destination Polaris is sponsored by Dragonfire Racing, feel the heat, and by Maui Jim Sunglasses, the fastest growing premium polarized sunglass maker in the world, and by Rugged Radio, the authority in communication.
Welcome back to Destination Polaris. We've spent 3 amazing days on the scenic trails of Moab, Utah with the Warfighter Made crew. This group of injured combat veterans are being led by Robert Blanton, who started Warfighter Made to help our wounded veterans through recreational therapy. Polaris has backed this effort for 2 years in a row, and as we wind down our trip with the final day of riding, we can't help but feel extremely grateful for their support. These men and their wives are simply great people, and tackling the tough trails of Moab and our razors has brought us all closer together. Driving up these mountains has been a healing experience for them and inspiring for us, proving to everyone that there really are no limits. We could have picked an easy trail to round out our trip, but that's not what the Warfighters asked for. Instead, we charged Moab Rim, which right off the bat starts with a series of staircase ledges that are extremely challenging. The magnificent view of the Colorado River Gorge is captivating, but being perched on the edge of a 150-foot cliff while rock crawling can get a little hairy. Once again, our warfighters look like seasoned pros. Maybe it was the fearless attitude that made them such great soldiers, or the confidence that they had gained over the previous 3 days. Whatever the case, we made our way up the trail and had a blast the entire time. Even Mark Epsky, the marketing manager of Razor, who was new to rock crawling, made it look easy. Once we arrived at the rim, we all took a few minutes to take in the scenery one last time. After another epic day of riding, we sat down with our warfighters one last time to ask them firsthand about their experience here in Moab.
We had an absolute time. The obstacles, the things these things could do, I mean, it's crazy. Crawling over these rocks, having a great time. I mean, these machines, I really want one now. I'm hooked. Sell my burner cycle, give me one of these. Definitely an excellent feeling, like I accomplished that. And I haven't felt that way in a long time, like I've accomplished something, because I've been kind of bound with my injuries. And just being able to feel like happy and not sad, or just like that excitement, that adrenaline rush, once again, that I haven't had since Afghanistan was amazing.
Coming out here with these vehicles, and Rob had them modified so I can drive them. It's a lot of fun. I like the ones where you're about to get really vertical, and somehow you just keep going up instead of back. When we're flying, it's a big adrenaline rush. Just crawling through obstacles. Testing my abilities and seeing what I can still do. It's a great feeling, and I love to drive, and I can run over stuff and go fast. It makes it even better.
It's helped me kind of get in touch with a different side that I haven't had the opportunity to do so. Just being able to strap up and then just head up the mountain and be there within a couple hours. The Razors has got me to a whole different level for sure. It was totally a challenge that I would do all over again.
From all of us here at UTV Underground and Destination Polaris, we want to extend a heartfelt thank you to all of our servicemen and women, past and present. Thank you, Polaris, for sponsoring our second trip with Warfighter Made, and for your continued support of our wounded combat veterans. Thank you to Camp Chef. They hooked us up with a surprise lunch for the entire Warfighter crew. And big thank you to Rally on the Rocks. Their staff rolled out the red carpet for our entire crew, and we couldn't be more grateful for everything they did for us this week. Thank you, Mad Media, for bringing this trip to life. Thank you to Robert Blanton, Michael and Erica Fox, Gabriel and Kayla Martinez, and Joshua Sust for sharing the Warfighter spirit with all of us. We are proud to know you and call you family. And now, an important message from Warfighter Made CEO Robert Blanton.
You know, a lot of people don't understand that 22 veterans commit suicide every single day. And as an individual that almost became one of those statistics in 2011, I took that negative and turned it into a positive, and with Butch and Brian, we started Warfighter Made to put an end to veteran suicide. And we're trying to do it one individual at a time. And we definitely need your help to do that. And to all of us veterans that know an individual that's in crisis, stay on top of it. Call a group of individuals to help you stay on top of that brother or that sister to pull them out of it, because we all know it gets better. Don't give up. Stop 22.